City's gonna be locked down again really soon.
Well, Chicago is right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't watch the news because I just.
It can be too much. So, like, what I ended up... So, like, at the beginning of COVID, like, I always just said, like, listen, I'll take an hour of the day and just read through on my CNN app just so that I'm informed, because I'll literally walk around like nothing's wrong. So,
yeah. No, I have, like, the Citizen app, so that one, like, tells me, like, how much percent more it increased or...
Right, like, I get those alerts.
Yeah. So that's my notification. That's the but we're not talking about COVID.
No.
COVID is
COVID is going to be COVID. It is what it is. This interesting. I feel like this is going to be my favorite episode. I do. I feel it in my bones. We're going to discuss on our fourth episode of Sazon Talk traditional and non-traditional gender roles. Mm-hmm. And we kind of, pre-production a few days ago, spoke about it. We, we even polled friends and close friends in different group chats, like, 2 specific questions that I kind of wanted to ask, because I feel like it's a very good indication of kind of like mentally where people are.
Yes.
So the 2 questions that I asked our group chat, of course, who's more jealous, men or women? And then shout outs to the Java Tears South group. I asked those individuals in that chat, I said, who's more jealous? And I feel like all the guys, for the most part, said women. Mm-hmm. Then I said, you know what? Better. Let me up the ante a little. Who's more insecure?
Right.
Men or women? And oddly enough, most of them said men were more insecure. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna dive into that a little bit. But before,
and then I think because I obviously for now obviously I do the Sazon page more often. And if you didn't know, now you know we have Instagram.
Please follow us on Instagram at Sazon
and always
Talk.
message us with anything you have.
Please DM us, not to holler, but to give us topic suggestions, questions you may want us to actually answer during an episode. We may do, maybe like the 7th or 9th episode, do like a audience get back where all the questions you guys ask will answer for that particular episode, which is pretty cool.
Right.
All right.
So on my personal Instagram page, I had 39% said men and 61% said women.
For what?
On who's jealous the most, men or women.
Okay.
And then in our page, it was actually tied.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because, so I'm going to ask a question then. Before we do jump into like understanding, traditional, what our idea of traditional and non-traditional gender roles are. Who's more jealous, men or women?
If you go back to our group chat, I feel the way Brit, how you say it, discussed.
Okay, she broke it down. That's what she do.
That men are more jealous and women are more insecure.
Okay. Explain for those since they don't know in chat.
I would like to say exactly. I was saying that with my therapist earlier. I like to read word for word what the person actually said.
She wants quote unquote.
Yes.
So that nobody mistaken. So what the fuck she said?
No, that's not what you said. No,
that is what I said. I say what I mean. I mean what I say.
So she said, generally, men, it's almost immediate and can be about anything. They are also quicker to act. But women do, too, when it's something they deeply care about, although it tends to build. Hold on. I'm trying to... I think that's the one where we started talking about it. Hold on. Was it her or was it Matt? But I think Matt also agreed that, yes, that women are insecure more. And then, yeah, he said women are more insecure and men are jealous.
So I agree.
Yeah.
I actually just experienced it a few days ago. Not with Mikey. Mikey isn't confident as fuck. He'll definitely tell the world. No, my ex from Chicago. I was checking up on him because, him and my other homegirl that live in Chicago because Chicago got shut down because of COVID stuff and stuff like that. He works at the hospital.
Oh.
So, my anxiety and, you still owe, no matter what happens, if you deal with somebody and there's, a amount of love there, you're going to care and you're going to, worry about them from time to time. So, and plus two, when COVID really was like heavy here in New York, he sent me stuff like masks and gloves and wipes and stuff like that from the hospital. So I'm always appreciative and, concerned about him and his well-being. So I had messaged him and I said, like, hey, just checking up on you, like making sure you're good. Like I know you're working at the hospital. I know things are getting crazy. Just let me know you're okay. And he messaged me. We spoke a little bit. And then out of nowhere, because I said to him, I said, oh, I spoke to his kind of like ex-best friend, but I spoke to Takia and her brother. His whole mood shifted. Whole mood. I said, yeah. I said, I checked up on them too. I said, before I spoke to you, I spoke to Takia and her brother. And whole mood change. And I was just like, I was beyond confused because I was just like, I guess he was more confused, like her and her brother. And I was like, yeah, like they check up on me, like literally, like we'll do well, because with COVID and stuff like that, I especially have friends that live all across the country, from California to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Chicago, Texas. My other best friend lives in Texas. So we always do wellness checks. So and he has a hard time understanding because our relationship isn't a relationship anymore, does not mean that my relationship with her diminishes because me and you aren't together. So he has a hard time understanding that concept. But it took it another level with her brother. He was just like, oh, like, what do you mean? And I'm like, they check up on me. I check up on them. Like, it is what it is. That's what you do with people that care about. And his whole mood changed. And then I went back to sleep because it was early in the morning. And I don't go to work till later. And when I woke back up, he texted me. He was like, sorry that I was jealous. And I was like, what are you jealous about? Like,
right.
That's, first of all, that's the wrong nigga to even be jealous about. Like, period. Like, so I say that in saying that I feel like guys are more jealous, but they don't show it.
They don't like to admit it.
They don't talk about it. They don't show it. Women show their emotions. If they're jealous, they'll let you know right then and there. Like, I ain't with that. Who this? Let me look through your phone. I don't do that because I'm a firm believer. If you're not paying my bill, then you have no right to touch my phone. So I'm on that wave. But in terms of insecure, if I had to choose who's more jealous, I probably would definitely say more women are. But insecurities, I would say men are more non-physically insecure.
Okay.
I feel like us as women are more insecure about physical features, whether it's how we look, going back to the BBW episode, how we look, how we sound, how we dress. Like our insecurities are 9 times out of 10 personally would be materialistic things, like things on the outside.
Right.
Men are more insecure internally. And that's, I feel like, is way worse than me being insecure about how I look and how I weight, because that mentality will bring you down. That is a heavier load than me feeling insecure about, oh, these jeans don't fit right, I can't wear them. Instead of a whole man being like, yo, she fucking with somebody else. Even when you're not, she fucking with somebody else.
Right.
But then when it's done to you or you're doing it, it's okay. So I feel like men give more excuses about their insecurities and not admitting that. And I think that just comes from that whole traditional role of being a man and you having to be the strong one, the one that doesn't show their feelings and things like that.
Yeah.
Where for me, I feel like off rip, because of how I was raised, I'm the non-traditional female, where I like to be in control. I like to, I've been in situations where I probably wore the pants in the situation. And it was the intent wasn't to be disrespectful to the person, but it was just like, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I can give. I know what I deserve. And when you do that, it always comes off as I'm intimidating. So
Okay.
that's been my daily
Yeah,
life struggle.
I've been told that I'm intimidating, and I've been told that I'm more of a guy than a girl.
Absolutely. As you of all people would know, all the boys be like, yo, Lawrence would be quick. Shout out to Lawrence for 2.5 Bros. Lawrence always be like, yo, he always be like, I want to be like you when I grow up. I'm like, what? Like, why? And he's just like, yo, you always got dudes around you, and, you know, people always want to get. I'm like, that shit ain't, listen, that ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be always quick to say, like, oh, you know, you a real nigga. But it's not about being a real nigga. It's just that I have a level of what I'm willing to tolerate versus what I'm not willing to tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not willing to tolerate anybody bringing me bullshit because I don't bring you bullshit.
Right.
And I think that's the hard part. And I feel like even growing up for me, my mom was probably the head of the household.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that not in a diss, you know, to my dad or whatever, because, and it's not to say he didn't have a job, like he didn't bring income in the household. I mean, he barely did much. But for my mom, she was a pharmacist. She worked 10 hours a day. She was still a mom. If I needed anything that I needed for school or anything she made sure I had it. Me and my brother had. So, like, that type of role model was how I shaped, like, she shaped me in that mold where you never ask no man for nothing. Yes. You never ask anybody for nothing. If, you know, if you're going to get it, you get it on your own, have your own. So that's why I have a hard time sharing, because my mom always told me how I will be. So, like, if we were at the club or something, and not to say I would share a bottle, but let's say if I didn't want to share, I would rather buy you your own bottle than you share mine.
Right.
Because my mom told me, always have your own. Shit is wild. Like, it shit is crazy to me.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
Because Britt is always saying, oh, Janelle don't share.
I don't.
And I'm just like, I don't know if I've ever had
but
a
she
situation.
But she says that because her and our other best friend, Joy, love her to pieces. These bitches, like, we'll go to eat and, you know, they'll want to share a meal. The fuck am I sharing a meal for? Like, I came here to eat for me. Like, I'm with you guys. We're sharing time. But I'm here. I want to buy what I want to buy. So Brittany's favorite story is when we went to Houston for her birthday. I think I might have shared some Chinese food with her. Might have. But I was drunk. So it was just like, you got this one off, girl. But what are your thoughts in regards to jealousy? Like, how have you handled jealousy in your life?
We mentioned about insecurities.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get back to that.
I feel maybe for me, if I am insecure about something and I see... Okay, so I'm going to give an example. I'm not going to say who the person is. Mm-hmm. But when I was dealing with somebody, there was this female that is a wrestler. And do not say no names.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you off camera.
Oh, okay. Now this got spicy because I'm sitting here like, who? Female?
I would tell you off camera. So I got a little insecure in the beginning because I was like, maybe that's more his type because she is a wrestler and she's this and she's that. And then seeing the person, both of them actually like kind of like laughing and like joking around made me jealous. And I was just like, so I normally shut down. Mm-hmm. And then he was just like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing, I'm fine. But, you know, that nothing I'm fine is just danger zone.
Listen, anyone listening, the nothing I'm fine, she's not fine.
Or don't worry about it.
Or I'm notorious of saying I'm good. Mm-hmm. If any of those following statements happen, it is a negative. It's something, red alert. Something is wrong, something ain't right, because I'm good. Me saying I'm good, and depending on how my tone is, I'm probably not good. I mean, I will be good.
I can tell, like, with the few situations that we've been dealing with this past few months. You be like, I'm good. And I'm like, she's not. She's really
at all. Like, at all. But, you know, I'm never one to burden anyone with my feelings and my emotions. I mean, the situation I'm in now, I have no choice but to kind of lean on him, which I'm thankful for because I don't really do that. So, you know, I think it's important when you deal with somebody that they help you step out of your comfort
Yes.
zone. I think that's one of the things I've learned over the last few months. Is like,
yeah, that's
it's
something
okay.
because eventually I did speak to him about what was bothering me.
But what
And
was it
he-
about that moment that because as a female, we can attest to, we'll freeze an image
Mhm.
and then create our own narrative.
Yes.
We're notorious at doing that. Notorious. Like,
I don't know what it was. I mean, the first time I met the girl, I was just like, okay, she's kind of pretty. And then.
and so are you. Don't do that. So are you.
I mean, I feel pretty sometimes. So,
Girl, listen.
let me tell you, I had to wake up extra early today because I was like, I need to do this hair. I've not done my hair in a few weeks.
Oh well, listen.
Like,
Should
I
be
need to
real.
look pretty.
Listen, I definitely came here bummy as fuck because I just was like, this is my day off.
I was thinking about wearing a sweater because I was like, I know Janelle's gonna wear a sweater because she usually does wear a sweater, and it's gonna be highly cold today, and it is. But I was like, I still should
I threw on this hoodie. I threw on my red bow, and I said, "Fuck it." I didn't even curl my hair because I'm over it. I'm actually over my hair, but that's neither here nor there. But we do
yeah.
as females, we create our own narrative.
Yeah, we create scenes in our own head.
Yes.
And
anyone that tells you different, they're lying. It is
yeah.
what
If they
is.
tell you that they do not overthink, it's a bunch of bullshit.
Queen. But you know what I will say? I will overthink everything else but a nigga.
Oh really?
I will overthink all, like, outside of, like, I will overthink shit for the podcast. I'll overthink shit with myself. But I never really overthink. Like, I don't overthink when it comes to guys.
I overthink everything. I mean, I've been
Like,
really good lately.
Which is good. That's a
because
positive.
that's something that we can actually talk about because I've been learning self-love and all this stuff.
Oh.
And shout outs to what's it called? Black Dots.
Oh yes,
Shout
Bruce
out to them
and his lovely girlfriend. They make sure to follow them on Instagram. They shouted us out the other day, so
yeah,
thank
I
you
responded to
so much for
they
showing
sent us a
us
question,
love.
and I thought that was amazing
Oh,
to talk about self-love. Like, what is self-love to you? So I think that's really good.
So what is self-love to you?
Well, to me, what's it exactly? Hold on.
Oh shit!
Told you receipts.
You gotta have them.
You gotta have
Listen,
them.
if you gonna be out here jealous and insecure, you better make sure you got your receipts.
So, what does self-love mean to you? So, because it's something that I've been working on. So, I put taking care of me, valuing me, and taking time to treat myself.
Okay.
So, that's what it means to me. And obviously, I think that's a huge topic.
I think
if you really generally go into it, it's
because there's so many different avenues
Yes.
you go into it, and I think there's so many different levels of self-love. And when it goes with self-love, self-respect goes along with it.
yes.
Your goals go with it. Once again, your likes, your dislikes, your deal breakers. Because Lawrence of the 2.5 Bros asked that question, I guess, to our podcast.
Oh,
what is your deal breaker? It was so funny. I was talking to Mikey about that not too long ago.
It was, besides cheating, what else would you consider a deal breaker in a relationship? So
Having a baby with someone else.
While in a relationship?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I said. That's what, when Mikey asked me, I said that. I said, because the cheating, I throw that kind of to the side. It's definitely important because cheating, it's not even so much the action so much, it's the breaking of trust. And that was for me, like with my ex when he cheated when we were in college, it was just like, I can't trust you with once I can't trust you with my feelings, I can't fuck with you.
Right.
And it was just that on top of feeling embarrassed because, all these people around us know your shit, and I'm just still sitting here looking like the good girlfriend and not knowing what the fuck going on.
Right.
But, I ended up staying with him for a few years after that. But I took it a step further, and honestly, having a child with someone else when you are sitting here saying, like, oh, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But when you do shit like that, there's just no respect.
Right.
There's no respect.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like, my deal breaker, obviously, those that know my story, I was once upon a time married, and he cheated while we were married. And even though he says that, like, sexually, they never did anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like you mentioned about the phone shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we were married. I was paying his phone, so
Oh, bitch, you looking through that shit.
one day, like
you have access.
That other what is it? The other sense that us women have.
Oh, that third eye is no joke.
It pulled in, and something told me to check his phone. Never checked his phone without him around. I mean, like usually we'll go on each other's phone just to like, oh, let me see this real quick, or send me this real quick. Like we knew each other's passwords.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I was like, I know your password, but he knows that I never checked his phone without even like, oh, let me see your phone real quick. Not that I've ever checked it before, but that night something told me, and
that
sure
happens.
enough, then he was sneaky though, because I didn't know, because he kept referring, because he used to work for New York City traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So it said like Agent Acevedo. So the whole time he was,
and
I don't care. Yeah, because he was telling me like, hey, my friend is leaving traffic to go to school safety, and he invited me to the graduation.
Oh.
And I was just like, okay. So in my mind, I assumed it was a dude. So for whatever reason, I went on the text message. I see my name and I see Agent Acevedo under. Don't know why, but I clicked on it, and then I find out it's a chick. Because he had a picture of her on his phone.
He's stupid.
And I started reading their text messages, and they're talking sexually. He's calling her my love and all this other shit. And I was just like, mind you, we had made a year married. This was on March 2nd, and we made a year February 27th.
Wow.
Sorry, it's February 25th. February 25th.
That's very similar to when I found out my ex was cheating on me. Again, because I'll never forget it. We had went to, when we finished school, I had moved to the Bronx.
Okay.
And I loved it up there. I lived by Bedford Park. Loved it up there. So we would go, and he had a car. So we would go, to New Rock, because we were right there in the Bronx, so it was right there. We would go up to, New Rochelle and go to the movies sometime, or we'd go and eat or stuff like that. And he had no pockets. The pants he wore, I guess, they didn't have no pockets. So he said, oh, babe, can you hold my keys and, my phone? Because we're going to the movies. I said, sure, not a problem. We go see The Book of Eli. I'll never forget it. The Book of Eli. So we sitting there, eating, drinking, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Once again, not like, never looked at his phone, never did none of that shit. So I go to the bathroom. Like, my bag is vibrating off the hook. I'm like, what the fuck? So in my mind, I think somebody's trying to reach him because, his grandmother is older, and that's, like, his mom. So I'm thinking it's an emergency.
Right.
It's a whole bitch he met at the club.
Oh, shit.
So, once again, knowing the password, because it was our anniversary, I'm looking, and I'm scrolling, and I'm like, this nigga met this whole bitch when he went to Contra? Oh, okay. So I feel like most females would probably like spaz out at that moment.
Oh yeah, I woke his ass up because he was sleeping.
See? So I'm very strategic where I didn't do anything at first. I put the phone back, and I think I might have gave it to him and was like, oh, you got some messages. Your phone was going off while I was in the bathroom. And then finished watching the movie. I'm smoking hot. Like, any female that knows, like, when you're mad and you're hot, like, flames are smoke is imaginary smoke is coming out your head.
Were you like me? You went from 0 to 100 real quick?
No, I was still at 0. Like,
oh, no.
Everything.
That's why I woke his ass up.
I think I was
went
more
from 0 100.
I think I was more of a volcano because I was dormant until the right moment. So we get back in the car, total silent ride back to my house. Because I'm pissed.
Right.
He don't know it. I just said, I don't feel good. I don't know. He did not know what the fuck I was about, like, going through. We get back to the house. Still ain't say nothing. I think we turned on the movie or something. We was laying down, chilling. I think we did smash. I'm not even going to hold you. I'm not even going to hold you. I think we did. And I think after that was when I confronted him about it.
Oh, shit.
Which is, see, I feel like that's a nigga thing to do. I don't know who else does that, but I did that. And looking back, I'm like, that probably would be Janelle thing to do, which is sad. But I literally, like, turned over to him, and I was just like, so you meeting bitches at Contra, though? And he was wild confused. And I think I said, your phone was going off in the movie theater. So we arguing and stuff. And it's not to say, like, you know, when you do dirt, and the thing was, we both were doing dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, man, we probably should have just did the episode of cheating, because that would have been way better.
Well, sometimes this is what I mean, you have, maybe us women, I wish we kind of did have a guy here. I wish Wilkins was still here.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we go through things that causes us to be jealous or insecure.
So that's the thing. At the end of the day, everyone has triggers.
Yes. Every
single male, female, transgender, no matter what, humans in general have triggers. Yes. And I learned as the older I got in any type of relationship, whether it's a friendship or a relationship with the individual, is you gotta learn their triggers. Mm-hmm. You gotta learn what takes them 0 to 100, so that you respect that boundary. And I think once again, triggers and boundaries go hand in hand, because I'm not gonna sit here and purposely trigger you on something and you come at me crazy, but I didn't know that was your trigger unless we spoke about that, unless that was communicated. Right. So that to me is that to me is like a non-negotiable at this stage of my life. Is I need to know what triggers you have, because whether it's not even for me, just in general, like it could be one of the boys or something say something, and now, you know, that'll trigger, you know, him, and he go off or something, and I'm just saying here like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But if I knew that in advance, I could shut all that shit down. But triggers are so important to learn, especially an individual, whether it's a friend or someone you're dealing with on a personal level, because that adds to the level of respect you have for them, and it adds to getting to know them. Because, like, I bet if your ex-husband knew that certain triggers you had, or maybe you hadn't learned them yet, but in growing, do you think if he would have known and paid attention to what triggers you, do you think you still would have been married?
Absolutely not.
That's hilarious.
Because
outside of cheating,
that's the thing. Like, people think that it's just the cheating that we were dealing with. It was beyond that. It was, I think, the day we got back home from the honeymoon, everything just changed.
Really?
Yeah.
So actually, question: how long do you think the honeymoon phase is? This is another question.
Our honeymoon phase ended when we came back from our honeymoon, so it was just,
Really? Yeah. How long did from when the relationship started to that? How long is that?
So a lot of people don't know this. I mean, they know that I was in church, but they don't know the beyond part. So part of being Pentecostal Christian, you're not supposed to have sex with anybody until you get married. So we stuck by that rule.
Girl, you ain't tried before you married?
No.
Would you do that again?
No, absolutely not.
Dad, she's... If y'all want to see her face, she was like, absolutely not. I would never do that again.
Right.
Was it bad?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, shit.
Yeah, like...
okay, wait. I hate scales. Scale from 1 to 10, though.
Scale from 1 to 10?
Yeah. How trash was it?
2.
2 being the worst?
2 being the worst.
Oh.
Like, it's like, I think I've only expressed this with
y'all niggas
Dre.
needed a demo, like AOL days. Like, y'all needed a 90-day demo.
I think I only expressed this with Dre. I'm not sure if I ever told you it or Britt. But it was, like, to the point where, I mean, we only did 1 round. And it wasn't just, like 30 minutes or anything. It was, like, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
You had a 1-minute man like Missy Elliott?
And it was just like, it was a whole fast situation. And then my needs were not important. So basically, I had to like finish myself off because I was starting, obviously, you know, I still have these feelings, like I'm still horny. And
you're not
like,
fucking with him no more. Yeah. That's just rude.
That's why I'm just like, I don't. That's like when you're telling me that, I'm just
I really hate when niggas would sit here and be like, you gave me blue balls, but then on the flip side, granted we ain't got balls, but you done fuck me.
We still got needs.
Right, like you done fucked me up. So now I'm like saying here like, so what the fuck? Like, so we like, not.
You started me up.
Right.
I mean, but that was the thing too. Like, in the year that we were married, and totally off topic.
No, this is great. I can already tell people when they listen to this, they're gonna be like, "Yo, whoa, what do y'all mean?"
Yeah. So in the
I told
year
you I
that
was
we
gonna
were
get spicy.
married, he probably started things maybe 3 or 4 times. Every other time, I made the initial to have sex.
That's boring.
Very boring.
You know
And I
what's
would
crazy?
complain about it to him.
Yeah,
Like,
as
you
you
know,
should.
fucking. And that's the
voice
thing,
your
because
opinion.
I've said this before in Cats and Dogs about I would be wearing lingerie, and he'll be like,
Girl,
that he
you
was
got
tired.
suited and booted, and he was like, not with the shit.
Yeah, he was like, I'm super tired. And mind you, I'll be
You
in.
take your tired ass on. Like, the fuck?
So, yeah. So if.
He's wild.
No.
So question. Would you say your ex-husband,
Yes.
would you say he would be more jealous or more insecure? From knowing.
If I was with him?
Yeah.
I feel maybe both.
Okay. Why?
In the sense of, actually was just talking about this recently. He was actually a musician. Well, he still is a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And he no, wasn't. So he plays bass, regular and an upright, because now he plays for NYPD Salsa.
Oh, that's nice.
So I mean, I guess, but okay. But anyways, so he would kind of like make it seem like, yeah, like that girl over there liked me, and that girl over there liked me. So, you know, and I've mentioned this last episode, episode 2, I think it was, where he was kind of making it seem like he was the shit, and I had to be lucky to have him.
I don't know where guys
girls
get the audacity to sit there. I've never had anyone, and once again, we had recorded Mikey's podcast yesterday. Thoughts of a Regular Man. Please make sure to follow that. Where Katie spoke about her ex after 7 years, text her on some like, I was the best thing you had. The fuck? The audacity. Like, no one can ever hit my line up and be like, yo, I was the best. What? Even if you, and that's the thing, even if you felt that way, because trust me, there's mad niggas that I probably was like, you will get no better. But I would never say that. Like, I would never voice that type of thing. Like, whether we fucked around for a little bit or a long time, whatever, I would never say that, because I don't feel like that's my position to even go there for that. Like, I would never, like, that's crazy to me. Like, somebody ever said that, like, we gotta square up. Like, we gotta fight. That shit is wild to me.
Yeah. That's what he would do. He would and I remember there was this one girl, and she was his ex-best friend's niece, sort of, because he married to the family, so that became his niece, whatever. So he was like, yeah, like, she was like obsessed with me, like, she really wanted to get with me, like, she was talking to my best friend and his wife about like, you know, trying to hook us up type of thing. And I was just like, okay, like, that made me feel super insecure. And there was one time, now that I just remember that, there was one time we were engaged, and we went to a buffet because we had just presented he's not our godson anymore, but we had presented him in church, and I caught him looking at her butt.
I mean, but looking at an ass, you can't fault like that.
But the thing is, like, you know how, like,
things.
you know how some guys, they quickly look and whatever. Like, he was gone on staring for like a good few minutes.
Okay, so he was just inappropriately looking.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing. Like, listen, guys are guys. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and think that, you know, a guy isn't gonna look at somebody's ass when you walking down the block with me. Like, sometimes couples might be on something like, oh, babe, like, look at that, or look. I'm not that, because
not me.
That's not happening. Like, you looking at me. I just want to know when you looking at me. I really don't care if you're looking at somebody.
That's the thing too. I feel like, because there were times I've gotten insecure because I got jealous because of that, because he never looked at me like that.
Right, but
So
that was
bothered
more.
me.
But that was more of a him thing. That really had nothing to do with you. Like,
Right,
I
but
feel like when you have an insecurity, that's more of a you thing than where you're projecting it to be. Because there's been times where, you know, we spoke about this the first 2 episodes, you know, Discovery and also BBW, where, like, you know, certain times being naked or looking a certain way or feeling a certain way about your body.
Mhm.
You may essentially block your blessing because of your own insecurity and you being your own worst enemy. It's so funny. The
Yeah.
other day my mom texted me because it's weird. Like when growing up, me and my mom, like we still butt heads. Like that's just gonna be what it is. But like I feel like being open and honest with her about certain things in my life so she feels involved
Mhm.
is okay now. So the other day she just straight up was like, we self-sabotage. And I was just like, bitch, yes we do. Like, that's wild that she said that to me. She was just like, just make sure you don't self-sabotage yourself because we notorious of doing that. Like,
Mhm.
and when she said that, I just was so like, yo, that's like probably one of the biggest things about me. And it goes a level beyond insecurities. Is me self-sabotaging myself and not thinking that I deserve something or thinking that I'm not good enough type of thing. And that really
Yeah.
just comes from childhood shit. But
Of course. And that's why, like, I'm not sure if I said it. I just said it in this episode about self love.
mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Um, with a few things that I've been going through past few months, um, I've started to value myself more
Absolutely, as you should.
and work on me more, which was I was supposed to do.
You listen. Everybody jokes and looks back at. I think it's Cat Williams that said that joke. Like, you are your star player. Nah, you are your star player. Like, that shit is the realest thing. One of the realest things I ever heard. Like in a comedy skit, because it was just like that is the truth. Like, if you don't have you together, how you expect somebody to present themselves to you?
Right.
And that was, I think, definitely that just actually comes with like age and experience and things like
Of
that.
course.
So like even now being in my early 30s, and being in this whole ass situation, Jesus. We joke about it now because he's just like, oh, we do couple things. I'm just like, ew, like what the fuck? Don't say that, but we do. But even looking at that now, it's like I can't sit here and think of all the negative or think that he's just gonna be looking at somebody else's ass and being somebody else's DMs and things like that. Like you can't. That's the one thing you can't worry about things you don't have control over. And you only really have control over yourself, and that goes back to self-love.
Yes.
And being able to control your emotions and being able to communicate those things, I think, are important because it'll help you in the long run. Like I look now, I'm like, boy, I would probably never say half the shit I say now. Jesus Christ. But I think it's important, especially with friendships, especially with relationships, because we all go through the same thing. I think when I ask that question of like who's jealous and who's insecure, really the answer is both.
Yeah.
It's just that we present it differently.
Yes.
Men
and they
present
hide
it
it.
one way. Right. Men will hide it.
And they'll deny it.
And they'll to the grave. And then you get some of those niggas that'll be like, well,
I was.
I'm emotional. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm a good guy. And it's just like that has nothing to do with anything, okay? Like at all. So you being able to just hope the fuck. Stop listening to my conversation. The individual knows who I can see you in the window. Asshole. But as I was saying, as a member of the Jabba Tears Podcast Network has entered the building, like communicating and being able to express yourself. I mean, it's normal to be jealous. It's normal to, you can come in. Wilkins was in here earlier, so it's okay. It's okay to be jealous. It's okay to have insecurities. It's just always about how you handle it. So, you can sit. I like your jacket. It says it's a one of a kind Jabba Tears Podcast Network jacket. Shout out to Dre from US Sports is in the building with us right now as we ending off this episode. What's one thing, as we wind down, what's one thing you feel like has significantly changed from the traditional gender roles?
I would have to say how do you say this? It's not the it's not so much anymore like the woman is the one that has to cook and take care of the children.
Correct.
It's now you in the generation that we're growing up in, now you see that it's actually both.
You ever had a man cook for you, girl?
I have not.
You ain't cook for her? Yo, you's a...
No.
Nope, I'm not gonna do it.
I admit it. I don't know how to cook certain things.
But he is interested in learning.
Okay.
So that I feel.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not gonna hold you because no one's ever cooked for me but Mikey. So I'm not gonna hold you.
Right. I told her that.
Oh, you know what? No, Chicago did too. Breakfast.
Chicago.
So I lied. I had to think about that.
I said I got her. We're gonna cook something together.
Just
So,
take a cooking class. Fuck it.
I mean, New York City about to be shut down soon, but
Oh, shit,
we
y'all
shall
better-
see.
Shit, I better get on YouTube.
But one of my first nanny jobs was I think when I first started noticing the split gender role,
Okay.
meaning like they took part half and half,
Uh-huh.
and I actually loved what they did. So they had a baby girl.
Mhm.
She was 3 months when I started working with them, and then they had their son Jacob that was 5 when I
Mhm.
started. Well, I know him since he was 1 because he used to be my daycare. But if the mom was the one that fed the baby at night, the dad was the one that took Jacob to school.
Okay.
Then they would do that for the week. So that was her week role. The next week, it will be the mom will sleep, the dad would take Jacob to school.
Okay.
And then, did I say that right? The mom
Yeah.
will sleep. No, I said the mom. Yeah, mom will sleep. Mom would take Jacob to school. Dad would feed the baby.
Oh, okay.
So they flip that every week. So 1 week, one stood with the baby at night, and then the other one would take the son to school. So they slept longer. So it's kind of like they balance their sleep arrangements. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I thought that was pretty cool because usually it's just us females that wake up to feed the baby, change the diaper, and all that other stuff. And then, but now I've been noticing a lot more often, even like my bosses now, like he's actually, because the female boss, she has a crazy schedule where she's telling me that even sometimes she comes out of work at 10 o'clock, even though she's doing virtual, but she's like done with meetings at 10 o'clock at night.
That's wild.
And the
Probably 'cause of
husband does
time
everything.
difference.
He does the laundry, he does the cooking, he helps the kids with the homework. He does everything. And she's just, from the moment that she wakes up and gets settled in, she's in meetings all day long. So that's why, like, I say in that part, gender roles have changed.
They have, but still that existed. Is people that are jealous
Yeah.
and insecure.
Yeah.
Like that's just life. I think when you're in a better space about who you are, that type of stuff is like less and less. Like I think even in dealing with the situation I'm dealing with now, like I don't know. I don't feel like he gonna do his own. Like nah.
Mhm.
Like I don't. And that comes with trusting somebody too. So
Yeah.
I think it's important. But insecurities are real. You should talk about them. You should talk about triggers. When you do listen to this episode, like DM us. Let us know some of your thoughts on jealousy and insecurities, and also what triggers you. I think it's interesting when us as like a culture, we have very similar stories and very similar insecurities, similar triggers, and things like that. Like even like us being friends, there's certain things that I probably know that trigger you, but low key, I probably have experienced that. So that's why I be like, you gotta chill the fuck out, or you gotta speak the fuck up. So
Right.
it's one of those things where it's like I'm not saying it because I want you to be better, but I'm saying it because I don't want you to go through what I went through.
Right.
And I think that's just the time, like the times we're living in, is where when you get a good group of people around you, that you guys all understand each other and what makes you upset, what doesn't make you upset.
I think I've been doing really good with
You have been doing an awesome
expressing
job. Everyone make
my
sure.
inner feelings.
Listen, everyone make sure to DM Amanda. Don't holler at her. DM her and tell her she's doing an amazing job communicating and talking and being open and being honest, because it's not
Thank
easy.
you.
It's not easy.
it's definitely, and it's kind of like what you were saying about the culture thing.
Yeah.
Because I was definitely taught to keep everything in. You know, even now with me taking therapy, like my family does not believe in therapy.
Which is sad. I
Um,
highly recommend
Yes.
therapy. Is
The moment
definitely
I started
something.
taking it,
Don't let the taboo fool you.
it was a process because again, I hated expressing my feelings, but it has been very helpful for me. I actually think I just made a year taking therapy.
Good for you.
Yeah. So it's
miss
been
my-
doing
I miss
really,
my
really
whole-
good. And you know, just because you take therapy doesn't mean you have to take medication.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely
not on
not.
any medications.
Yeah, no.
We've spoke about to try to deal with things without medication.
Which is a good thing.
Yes.
Because it even goes back to the previous episode and talking about birth control. Those type of imbalances chemically, I can't fuck with. Like,
Yeah.
so like even if unless it was like a scientific, like, this is what's going on, this is supposed to help you kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't fucking with it. So no,
Right.
I think it takes a lot of courage to do therapy. Like, I did therapy the right after my parents said they were getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom felt like it was necessary for us to just talk to someone.
Right.
Like me and my brother. My brother was, once again, he's younger than me, so he didn't really have that concept of like what the fuck was going on. But me being a senior in high school, I'm dealing with high school. I'm dealing with leaving high school,
course.
applying for colleges, still trying to figure out what the fuck I want in any situation, dealing with a dude. On top of the fact my parents are getting divorced, so it was just like,
Yeah.
what? So she definitely put us in that, but I felt like the person that we talked to, she was boring. So, or maybe I just wasn't with the shits. But then right after my last breakup, I did therapy. But I did it more or less. It wasn't so much that I did it because me and the individual were no longer together. I did it because I wanted to figure out me. I wanted to figure out why I keep attracting the same ass niggas doing the same ass shit. What the fuck am I doing wrong?
Circle.
Like, it was a vicious cycle that I think I've come to the finish line on that one.
Yeah.
I will say I've come to better terms with certain individuals nowadays, but in all
I can understand
in
that.
saying therapy, it just it's a good tool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that us as a culture, certain growing up, not understanding, what tools to use, and then sometimes your family, your mom, your father, your grandpa, grandma, they don't have the tools because they don't know the tools.
Right.
So we always sit here and
Listen,
be like,
my biggest reason to take therapy, besides and just to wrap this up, besides me feeling crazy, was obviously, if you don't know, now you know, I have a degree in early childhood education.
woo woo, college
And-
educated bitches on the mic.
And
Shout outs to St. John's University that
I
I'm still
was
paying for the
talking-
day and the time.
I was talking to my aunt, and I was telling her, how can I help children if I not helping myself?
Correct.
So that's kind of why I decided to take my therapy, because I was like, I want to be helpful for kids. I want to give them the support that they need.
Right.
I need to take care of myself before I can help anybody else.
Correct. So
Yeah.
last words. Listen, don't feel ashamed if you have a jealous moment. We all do.
Right.
Embrace your insecurities because they're a part of who you are. I think most people shy away from them when you really should do the reverse and embrace them, because embracing them, actually you find the root of why those particular situations make you insecure.
Mm-hmm.
So that, in a sense, is the journey I think you should definitely embark on.
Okay.
And also, too, just speak up. It's okay. People around you, no matter who it is, like, just say, like, yo, it's okay to say I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the biggest lesson now.
Yes, especially in 2020.
Everybody, shit. Corona done taught niggas a few lessons. Like, listen, not tomorrow is definitely not guaranteed.
That's right.
Shit, you can hit a restart button and shit be not okay, but you come out of it better. And I honestly, I can say, like, just on a spectrum, like, from our kind of like inner circle, that we're all blessed that we have each other, I think, to be supportive of one another. So And saying that, that is the end of episode 4. We did jump around a few things, but the main focuses was definitely jealousy versus insecurities. And I think, that plays a part in, gender and how you handle certain positions and roles in life and
Right.
all of the above. So, yeah, we did a little jumping. You got a little more stories for your
You
buck.
got some spicy today.
You got some spicy shit. This episode and the episode before this, spicy as fuck. So make sure to listen to the episodes in order, because then it will make sense. If you listen to this episode before you listen to episode 4, 3, you're gonna be fucking lost. So anyway, I am Janelle along with
Amanda.
Yup. We will see you guys next time. Make sure to once again follow us on Instagram at Sazon Talk.
No accent on the O.
No accent. Instagram is disrespectful as fuck. But make sure to follow us. Make sure to DM us, not to holler. I will say that every episode because I got some word that once I post a picture of me and Amanda doing the podcast,
Chacho.
niggas was hopping in the DMs like, yo, what's good? And not to think that my homegirl that I'm doing the podcast with was not going to tell me. Please stop, gentlemen. Anyway, they're shooting shots. Listen, actually, I'd rather you than me because Mikey's crazy as fuck. So I'm just not. I literally showed him. Yo, he's fucking crazy. Clearly, he's crazy as fuck. I'm going to end this off. I literally showed him, because I posted a picture of him on my Insta story. I literally showed him everybody that was like, oh, you got a boo now? Sad face. I was like, yo, look at this. Because I was like, I really think he thought I was lying. And I'm like, no, I'm not lying. Like,
Right.
look at this shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, first of all, I said inbox Sazon Talk. I didn't say inbox Amanda. But if you choose to do that, you are at your own risk, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to once again follow us on Instagram. Make sure to give us some topics. We're gonna round out the year. The next few episodes will be rolling out as the weeks go on. But make sure to give us some topics so that we can keep the spiciness rolling. All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you guys soon.
Bye.